October 23rd, 2020 will go down in the history of Nigeria as a day that some youth were attacked at Lekki, Lagos State. As Nigerian youth across the length and breadth of the country marks the first anniversary of the EndSARS nationwide protest, stakeholders have called for a review of the police operation in Nigeria. This was the hallmark of discussion on Wednesday as Coalition of Civil Societies in Osun State held a roundtable discussion to reflect on the issues, lessons, and regrets learned with the nationwide protest held in the year 2020. The civil societies came with this as a means of engaging stakeholders and government instead of embarking on another means of protest in the state. In his keynote address, Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho of the Federal Polytechnic Ede berated the government for not being truthful in handling the protest and the event that led to Lekki tollgate attack.
Government was mute. Government was inactive, and that was what aggravated this problem. It must be put on record that this EndSARS protest was peaceful. They were not fighting anybody. They were not attacking anybody. They were not destroying any property. They were only telling government, this is what we want to move our country forward. And government descended on them. They moved to Lekki tollgate with live bullets, off the CCTV, off the light, and started shooting, maiming, and killing Nigeria. It was on record that the army made away with some dead bodies. This is unfortunate. You see people shouting, people who are not armed, and the police and army descended on them heavily. At the end of the day, so many people were killed, and they told us nobody was killed. But fortunately for us, under this 1-year anniversary, particularly in Lagos State, Lagos has been now names of about 10 casualties, people who died, and they are paid them 10 million per person. Can money compensate for life? That is what Nigeria is doing now. After killing innocent people, potential president, potential government, potential commissioner.
Speaking on the panel, the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor of Osun State, Mr. Ismail Omekpidan, appreciated the organizers for the program, promising that the government will continue to welcome engagement and dialogues aimed at bringing development to the state. The governor's spokesperson revealed why the report of the judicial panel has not been implemented in the state.
But before then, I want to commend everybody in this hall, because just imagine if the multitude in this hall were allowed to be on the streets. You agree with me that whether we like it or not, it will have effects on the peaceful atmosphere in the state. So I must commend the organizers for this initiative, and I want to assure you that wherever and whenever we need to come in as government, we will continue to support initiative like this. I'm talking about the panel report. The panel report has been submitted. We are about acting when there was directive from the federal government that states should submit their reports to the federal government. And if you go and Google, you will find it there. As at 2 days ago, they said they were waiting for Lagos to submit their report. And so we await the decision from there. But I want to assure us that whatever we need to do as far as implementing the recommendations in that report is concerned, the government will be willing to implement it. Thank you.
Chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Osun State Council, Mr. Wasiu Ajadosu, also spoke on the role of the media.
You know, we so far we became a victim. It was a member of my union was attacked. Alhaji Toyin Yusuf was attacked on that 17th of October. And it was not unpalatable for us. And also, the OSBC at Okibale was equally attacked when the Hooligans attacked the protests. So these are the experiences that we will not forget in Ori.
Others on the panel include rights activist Waheed Saka, managing director of Tunes Farm that suffered the looting that trailed the EndSARS protest, Mr. Taufik Badmus, and also Akeem Adeyinka, the chief executive officer of Atec Phones and Gadgets, whose office was also looted. While Waheed Saka spoke on the lessons learned, Badmus and Adeyinka talked passionately on how their businesses were affected.
We've accepted our fate, and we as a company, if there's any compensation that needs to come, definitely will take. But like I said earlier, we lost over 200 million. I know what 200 million can do for me as a person, not to talk of maybe like every other person here knows what that kind of amount of money will do. So we're not going to say we won't take it or we won't take any compensation.
It is noted that the Commissioner of Police in Osun State, Olawale Olokode, and Director of DSS were conspicuously absent, despite the fact that they both were invited to the program. After the program, the stakeholders presented a position paper on EndSARS movement in the state and how they want the issues to be addressed. The stakeholders, among others, demanded, quote, immediate full implementation of reports of the EndSARS Judicial Panel of Inquiry. We believe that proper resolution of the past and effective management of the present will safeguard the future, unquote. Speaking with Inside Links TV, a foremost rights activist, Comrade Waheed Lawal, spoke on the importance of discussion and how it is important over the street protests.
Jojo is better than war. If we discuss, we channel a way forward. When people speak, Nigerians listen.
Immediately after the program, participants moved out of the hall to hold a candlelight procession in honor of those that lost their lives during the EndSARS struggle last year.
Their blood to continue to tormenting our oppressors. Amen. We pray God to rest their own soul. Amen. And their blood to continue to tormenting our oppressors. Amen. Until they see reason why our life must be better than what we're having today.
From Aurora Event Center in Osogbo, the state capital of Osun State, the venue of the EndSARS dialogue, Jare Tiamiyu, Inside Links TV.